This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Scott Howell.
Hello, good neighbors, and welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast, brought to you by the Friends and Neighbors Group of the Greater Chattanooga region. And of course, as the announcer told you, I'm Scott Howell, and I'm your host. Now, a lot of people want to know, what is the purpose of the Good Neighbor Podcast? What are we all about? Well, we desire to bring awareness to the residents of our communities of the locally owned and operated businesses and organizations and nonprofits and charities in the greater Chattanooga region. Small businesses and organizations like we're going to be talking about in a moment, they're the backbone of our communities. They need our support. And, every local business and organization has a story to tell, and we just want to help them to tell it loud and proud. And joining me today is our good neighbor, Jennie Landreth at Choices Pregnancy Resource Center. I wanted to make sure I said that slowly and got it right. Choices Pregnancy Resource Center. Is that right, Jennie?
You got it right, Scott.
All right. Well,
good job.
That's awesome. We are so glad to have you with us today and so excited to hear about what you do there at Choices and just looking forward to it.
I'm excited to be here. I always love to talk about the good stuff going on here.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful organization. We had a few minutes to speak before we pressed the record button, as I say. So I'm really excited about it because there's a lot of people out there who need help. They need help with a lot of different things in relation to children. I've heard too many stories about children, not necessarily being neglected. There just wasn't enough resources for the parents to help their children, And so I'm really excited. But Jennie, before we jump into talking about Choices, now, I know, Jennie exists outside of Choices too. So would you like to share anything with us about personally or about yourself and your family?
Well, sure. I actually came to Chattanooga to go to college. I lived in lots of other places, but fell in love with the city, going to school here. And even I left to go to grad school, but came back. And this is where I wanted to raise my kids and have a family. So
wonderful. I
have 3 adult children now that I homeschooled all the way through. And they're now in their 20s. And but all through that time, I volunteered here at Choices, even actually starting back when I was 19 years old. This was a passion for me. So it's a dream come true that now, after I'm done raising my kids, I'm able to actually come be on staff. So it's really just a full circle of thankful to have a family, have raised a family here in Chattanooga. It's such a great place to live. And so excited now to spend my days here doing some things we'll talk about in a minute. But so that's a little bit about me.
Well, Jennie, I'm just going to pause and say something just for a moment. All of you people out there in podcast land that can't see the video, if you could see her, you would join me in saying, I'm jealous. I want to know your skincare regimen, because I'm sitting here thinking you're probably in your 20s, maybe 30, and then you're telling me you've got kids that are in your 20s. You've got to be kidding me. I mean, you do not.
You're very sweet.
Wow, you do not look old enough to have kids in your 20s. Wow. So kudos to you and whatever skincare regimen you use. or your mama might want to take credit and say that was good genes. But
yeah, I guess it was good genes. I'm thankful for.
Well, I apologize. I don't mean to embarrass you.
No,
but,
that's sweet.
Anybody who sees the video is going to be like me. Their jaw is going to be dropping down when you say you have grown children. But let's dive in, Jennie. Let's talk about Choices. What is it that you do for families in our communities?
Well, when someone finds out they're pregnant, it is a daunting, life-changing moment. It's overwhelming. And for people who are planning it, this is their plan in life, and they're wanting to have children and change the trajectory of their lives. It's a daunting thing. When it's unexpected, it's even that much more of not just a shock, but kind of overwhelming, where our whole trajectory of our life has shifted. And when we having kids, it puts us in a position where it takes a village, right? It's very overwhelming for someone to do alone. They need support. And what we find is that many women and men facing that think because they have limited resources they don't have insurance, they're still in school themselves, think, how can I support another person? And what we have found is that we all need someone to come alongside us. So that's what Choices does. We come alongside women and men, and most specifically who have unplanned pregnancies. And we say, we're going to be there. We're going to help you. You do have choices. You're not alone. And so we offer medical pregnancy care. So that can be, of course, the pregnancy test, but ultrasounds. Many people, when they are able to see their baby on the ultrasound, it really helps them to understand what's happening to them, that there's a baby in there, that this is a person.
Yes.
And so our goal is really just to love them both. And so those ultrasounds, we do early prenatal care if a mom doesn't have insurance, while we're helping her get into some sort of insurance or TennCare or whatever, to just provide that medical care for them through those early stages of pregnancy. And we also even offer abortion pill reversal. So abortions now, most abortions are done through a pill, and women can take those at home. They get them through the mail. Even though it's illegal here in Tennessee, they can still access them by traveling or through the mail. And what we're finding is a great deal of women, when they take that pill, they feel regret. They've either been pressured to do it, or after some time to think about it, realize that this isn't what I want. And we can reverse that abortion up to 70% success rate.
Really?
So we love that service. It's one of our most favorites, is to an abortion already in progress, to be able to reverse that. We have little babies here that are in our parenting program now who have been saved through that process. So we offer those medical services at no cost. We don't take insurance. We don't take any payment for them. And then we basically put our money where our mouth is, right? If we say we're going to support you, we'll be there for you, then that's what we do. So we mentor them through the first 3 years of parenting with their babies. And so it's educational classes, it's one-on-one mentoring, it's group classes. And these classes can be anything from financial planning down to just nutrition and birth and delivery classes, how to change a baby's diaper, even just really practical things. And every time they participate in our parenting programs, they earn what we call baby bucks, which is a cute way to say they get points for participating, and they shop in our baby boutique, which is full of diapers and baby clothes, cribs and car seats, whatever they could need for a baby. They can cash in their baby bucks and can go up to several years without having to actually buy anything for their baby, because they're getting it all through the boutique.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So does this have like income criteria or anything like that, or just anyone who is in need?
Yeah, anyone who's in need. We don't have any criteria. We are here to support a whole plethora of needs. It could be they don't have insurance. It could be they don't have a job. It could be that they're in an abusive relationship and are going to have to walk away from the things that they do have. So there's lots of scenarios, and really everything that we are doing is to affirm the preciousness of life. Every life is important. The life of that mom, the life of that dad, the life of the baby, they're all valuable. And so the care that we give to surround all three of them and all of their needs comes in just all kinds of life scenarios like that. We have some married clients, we have single, we have some that are just in relationships, just all kinds.
I love it because you said moms and dads, because, a lot of times, I don't know, maybe it's just the stereotype, it's like it's always a mom, and probably the majority of the time it is, but that mom has trying to raise the kids by herself. But there are dads out there too, that in that situation.
Even in the very first phone call where they make an appointment with us, right there on the phone, we encourage them to bring a guest, and we ask, would you like to bring the father of the baby? And we have an entire men's services department here. We have 2 full-time men on staff, and then about 10 to 15 men volunteers. Oh, wow. So every man that comes in here is met with another man, and we get to hear what they're going through and their story, and are really able to empower them. Because, our culture tells them no uterus, no voice, but that's not true. Every woman who is struggling with that decision, the most influential person to her in that decision is the father. And that's data that has been collected from pro-choice and pro-life sides. The father of the baby has the most influence on her decision. She wants to hear from him, I'll be there and I'll support you.
Yeah.
And so we really empower those dads to speak up and say, you know what, I want to be a dad. And then we follow through with that. And we have an entire track for the dads. The dads come in every other week at first for mentoring, and they can participate in the classes. And so we have a whole dedicated side, because those babies need their dads. And sometimes the moms and dads don't end up together. And that's okay. They're both still parents. And sometimes that makes it more complicated. And so we really do come alongside them and say, how can you still be that dad to your baby that you probably longed for? Maybe you had, but maybe you didn't have. So a lot of them don't even have a baseline. What does that mean to be there for someone? What does that mean to be present? It's so important as a parent. So it's really fun to watch these dads just on the front end in the medical side in those early weeks to become a protector of their baby. And then when they participate in the program, they become providers for their baby. These men can get a brand new crib for their baby in 2 visits.
Oh, wow. Really? So even if they're not together, they can still have things they need at their house. Well, so when the baby comes there, they still have their needs taken care of there. That's wonderful. You know, I met somebody recently was talking about how well her and her, her children's baby daddy, I think that's the word she used, baby daddy. They co-parent well. They don't have any intentions of being together. They decided they don't really fit in each other's lives, but it's really important to both of them to be a parent.
Yes. It just not being together does not have to stop someone from being involved in their kids' lives. And they always have a man that's just walking through them. And in these mentor times with them, it's not just here's the class, do the homework, earn the baby bucks. It's tell me about what's going on in your life, and how was the job interview, and let me see pictures of your baby shower. Just really investing in them and caring for them as they walk through this journey. Because anyone who's had a baby and a toddler knows it is a crazy ride. And they change so rapidly in those first 3 years. And those are the most developmental changes come in those first 3 years, which is why we're very specific to stay connected with them through that baby's 3rd birthday. And that's when they graduate from the program.
Are those mentors, whether it's the men or the women, whether it's the mother or the dad, are these mentors ever able to kind of reach somebody who, yes, there's a baby here. Yes, I know I'm partly responsible for there being a baby here, but I'm just not quite sure if I want to be a parent. And are those mentors ever able to kind of to reach out to those people that eventually maybe their heart changes and they're like, yes, I want to be this child's parent. I want to be the best parent I can be.
That's one of the best parts of what we do here. That's those are the fun moments. And really, there's 2 opportunities where that happens. The first one is in the ultrasound room. A lot of times people don't really understand this is a baby in here. And even a baby at 10 weeks has arms and legs. And I mean, the baby is just teeny, tiny, but all those organs are developed. So statistically, of the women and men who come to our center who are considering not parenting, they're considering either abortion, 80% of them, when they get into that ultrasound room and they see their baby up on the screen and they hear the heartbeat, over 80% change their mind. Sometimes that number even gets up into the 90%. So that's a really powerful moment where they're having all these doubts. And one mom even described it this way. She said, I came into Choices thinking about my pregnancy, but I walked out that day thinking about my baby. So just that shift in her mindset of this isn't a condition I have, this is a person. And then the other place where that happens is our baby boutique. So we might have a mom or dad or both who say, a baby would be great, but I can't even, I'm in school, I can't even take care of myself, much less take care of another person. Well, we can say we'll be there for you, but they don't know us. They don't trust us. But what we can do is walk them down the hall into our baby boutique. And they walk into this room that's full of diapers and little cute baby shoes and car seats. And what we're able to say to them, it's not that we're going to be here for you. It's that it's already here. And the sense of relief that comes over them to, oh, so I can do this because these things I was worried about, these obstacles have been removed. So you see this, almost this sigh of relief come to them when they walk into that room. So those are really the two places where someone who comes in here thinking, I can't do this. I just can't. There's just no way. All of a sudden they realize you do have choices. You're not backed into a corner here with your decision.
Jennie, you're the second person I've interviewed in the podcast since I've started doing this year that has brought me to tears. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking about this. I was never able to be a dad. The wife of my youth, she couldn't have children, and we wanted them so bad. And so when I hear you talk about people, walking in, thinking about the pregnancy, walking out, thinking about the baby, that just touches my heart. That just really touches me.
I mean, you appreciate how precious life is.
Yeah.
Especially when, you're experiencing not having that in your life, but to see how precious it is. And that really is the whole reason that we're here. We want everyone to experience all of the blessings and the abundance that comes from having a family. It's such a fulfilling thing. It makes us better people. But so many times all the stresses, well, I don't have insurance. Well, how am I going to buy a car seat? Those things get in the way. But if we can remove those obstacles, the joy that we see, and I tell you, we have Choices babies born every month that we just celebrate. They're just the cutest. Our babies are the cutest in Chattanooga, but
she's
really
not prejudiced at all when she
not
said
at all. But every life is so precious, and really the mother is too. It's not that we just care about the baby. We love these moms and dads. We love to see them thriving. We want to empower them to be the best mom and dad that they can be.
That's amazing, Jennie. Tell me what brought you to this. I mean, tell me your journey. How did you come to, you obviously are a mom, but how did you come to be a part of an organization like this?
It's really interesting. As a high schooler, I watched the movie Dirty Dancing. Love Patrick Swayze.
Oh yeah.
And the premise of that movie is an abortion that has gone bad.
Yeah.
And it struck me in that movie how accepted it was that abortion was just a thing people did. And so I felt really just convicted about that with my own faith, too, of every life is precious. But if I were to say that, then I need to be doing something. So I actually got involved here at Choices when I was in college, back when I was 19, which was a long time ago. And have volunteered on and off through. Now, I've had taken some breaks through raising my kids and having times where I couldn't be here. But I have volunteered on and off since 1991 here.
Wow.
And once you come into this place, that's it. That's all it takes, is to see the transformation, to see the amazing work, to see lives saved and lives enriched. And I could never get enough. I could just never get enough. So that's kind of my story. I am an adoptive mom. My oldest daughter is adopted.
Okay.
And so even just knowing that she was homeless, she didn't have any way to take care of my daughter. And seeing her make that ultimate sacrifice and her bravery and her courage because she valued that little girl. And so she's always been my inspiration. She's my hero.
Wow. Maybe this, I hope this isn't an inappropriate question. Did that adoption come through someone you met at Choices, or?
No, well, actually, a local adoption attorney here in town is the one that connected us.
Okay.
And he's actually very involved here at Choices. So it wasn't a direct connection, but it's kind of a community.
An indirect connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, wow. I've looked at the timer on our recorder. We've been talking for 20 minutes and it seems like 5. I mean, this is so heart touching and interesting and thought provoking. I mean, it's just like, I mean, I think about how many times I grew up in rural Alabama and places where people struggled many times to feed their family, to buy. But it's funny, you know, I come from an era not having children, I realize, but I still come from an era before Pampers is what they used to say, you know, when everybody had cloth diapers and they washed them, you know. But when things began to change, life got faster, things happened, and there was more convenient options come about. A lot of people couldn't afford those. They just couldn't afford it. I've heard of so many people talk about, I didn't know what I was going to do, you know, and I didn't know where I was going to get it. And so to know there's an organization like, you know, Choices out there, I think it's just amazing. And I always like to ask this question, and to every organization, every business that I talk to, and I want to ask it to you, and I'm really interested to hear your answer. If you would, there was one thing that you wish that people knew about the heart of Jennie Landreth in conjunction with Choices Pregnancy Resource Center, but people wouldn't know it unless you shared it with them. And you like to just share it today loud and proud. What would that be?
Wow. One thing? Only one? You know,
you can discuss a couple if you like to.
That's okay. I think I have my one. I think my one thing of my heart is that everyone can have a part in this. It could be, you know, we're a nonprofit, and so and we don't charge our clients or patients a dime. So we do depend on the financial support of the community. So a person can give even $5 or $10 a month. Yeah. That consistent gift like that really actually saves lives. But also we depend on volunteers. We need people here that are meeting with these moms and dads, that are being that person to come alongside them. We have opportunities for people to answer the phones, enter data, shred, you know, confidential pay. Like there's lots of behind the scenes work that can be done here. And there's events we do. So even people can volunteer on a Saturday morning. But I think that a lot of times we look at a big issue like this and think, what can I do? I'm just one person. I can't really make a difference. I can't actually save a life. But everyone actually can be a part of this in some way. We're actually in urgent need right now for volunteers. And we're at the end of our fiscal year, and I'm a fundraiser. And so I'm trying to hustle here to try to raise the remaining amount before the end of June. So there's lots of needs like that. But I think my heart is that if we believe something is true and we believe it's important, what are we doing about it? That's what got me here in the first place, is that conviction of myself of, well, if I say this, I need to put my money where my mouth is, or I need to do something. Yes. I can't just say it. And I've seen people contribute even in small ways. I can volunteer 4 hours a month or something like that. And I have seen from the other side how impactful that is with people in the community. And families are the cornerstone, right, of civilization, a family. And so if we're all serving and empowering and strengthening families, we're all going to benefit from that. It makes our community better. It makes our, Chattanooga a stronger, healthier place to be. So I think that's my heart, is that whatever your skill is, whatever your talent, whatever your resources are, there's a place, and not just at Choices. There of course, lots of good organizations here. But it brings so much fulfillment to be a part of something that's bigger than just yourself,
I'm glad you brought up that about, your organization has needs, because that's one of the things I wanted to ask you too before we, left the program today. So you said you're trying to fundraise. So is it okay to ask you specifically what your needs are right now?
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Please share that with us.
We are needing to raise $80,000 before the end of June. And having a free medical clinic is a very expensive service, but it's so needed in our community that who are all of a sudden have a medical need that they weren't anticipating. So we are looking to raise $81,000. But I tell you, actually, we have something coming up called the Walk for Life, where people can be fundraisers themselves. So they just get their friends and family to sponsor them, and then can come and do a 1 mile walk with us. We just do 1 mile. We don't run or try to make a marathon or anything. We just want to have fun. But it's a great way for people to actually just raise money amongst themselves. And I tell you, Scott, the first time I did it, I thought, well, I don't have rich friends. I'm not going to be able to raise much. But I put it out there, and I asked friends, can you just sponsor me $25? Just, not a ton, not a big expense, a dinner out. Right. And before I knew it, I had $2,000 that I had raised for Choices, with just because I had just friends were just giving here and, $5 and $10 and $25 gifts. So even those little gifts make a huge difference. And a $2,000 funded a whole day of the medical clinic here. Like I'm so thankful for that, just to have friends and family that can do that. So the Walk for Life, I don't know if you can put a link maybe down in the comments or something later, but people can just click on that link. They can set up a profile, and then they just send the link to their friends and family and put it on social media and just ask people to sponsor them. So that would be, that's a really exciting way for us to raise money. Where
I've got some ideas that we'll talk about when we get off the program about it, maybe how we can help. Just quickly, I want you to tell me, I say quickly, I don't mean quickly like you have to hurry, but before we leave the podcast, I do want you to be able to share with people how that they could find out more online or offline, how they can contact your organization, how they can volunteer, whatever it is that you would like to share with them. And I would also like to say, if you need people in the medical industry to help volunteer, please state that as well. So please do that right now, Jennie.
Okay. And there's also one more service that we offer. And this is, I want to just put this out there too, for women and men who have been affected by an abortion in their past. We have after abortion care. Many people struggle with the guilt and shame of that, the regret from that, and might have tendencies to have wounds from that affecting other areas in their life. That's another area. So if anyone is out there that has had an abortion and is struggling with that, less than 1% of people who have had an abortion reach out for help, but we are here to help with that. So as I share our website, that's another area where I would love for people to know they can reach out to us, and we want to help through that process. Yeah.
And then go ahead and share your contact information. You've got social media, website, anything.
We do. So our website is team.choiceschatt.org. That's for those who want to get involved and support. We have a different website that's for our patients. That's just choiceschattanooga.org. So if someone is needing our services, they can go to choiceschattanooga.org. But if you want to get involved with the organization, just put team in front of it. So team.choiceschattanooga.org.
TEAM?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a team. Yeah. And then Choices Chat is our social media tag. So Instagram and Facebook for patients and clients. And again, the same, if they want to get involved, they put team in front of it. So on Facebook and Instagram, it would be team.choiceschat. So they can find us in any of those ways.
All right. Is there a phone number that you want to give out, or you just want to send everybody to social media?
Yes, I can do a phone number. I'll just give our main one. Actually, this is, you can call or text this number. It's 423-892-0803. Okay.
Well, I can't tell you enough, Jennie, how much I have enjoyed this and learning more about your organization, and the things that you do for the community. And I think when we get off here, I think I can help in some networking as well. So I've had the heartfelt privilege to meet so many wonderful people here in this area through this program and others. And so I'm sure there's people that would love to help. And be glad to try to help you with that too. Thank you for being with us today, Jennie. It's been wonderful.
Thank you for this opportunity, Scott. We're just so thankful to be able to share in any way we can with the community that we're out there and want to help.
Absolutely. And we're so glad to be part of it too. And you know, to all the good neighbors of the greater Chattanooga region, you know, after meeting Jennie and learning more about, you know, Choices Pregnancy Resource Center and what they do, what they offer, how they help, their needs as well. That they need volunteers. They like all of us. They need money. They need, you know, medical services to pitch in and you know, and there's so many of y'all out there who are listening and that you care. I know you do. I've met you. You care. There's a big heart in Chattanooga, and I appreciate all of you. And you know, I do want to say this because the Good Neighbor Podcast is a resource. It's for everybody. When Jennie and myself were talking, if you have had an abortion and you don't feel guilt over it, the Good Neighbor Podcast is not here to shame or blame. Okay. If you do not feel that guilt, we're not here for that purpose. But if you do have experienced that feeling, there's help for you.
Yeah.
If you have these needs, there's help for you. If you want to volunteer, there's a place for you. So that's what we've heard today from Jennie. This is just as new to me as anyone of you out there listening today. But wow, my heart has been touched. And I don't know how I could volunteer as someone who's never had a child. But if I can, I'd like to. If nothing else, I can walk a mile. I can do that. And so, you know, let's do all we can to pay attention. I think one of the things that we're going to do, Jennie, if it's all right with you, we're going to do another podcast just about your fundraiser.
That'd be great.
We're going to put that out there for everybody. So everybody look for that and watch for that. We're going to do another podcast that talks just about the fundraiser itself. So, you know, as I always say, I'd like to thank you all, you know, the listeners, for taking the time out of your busy day to visit with us at the Good Neighbor Podcast. And always remember to support the locally owned and operated businesses and nonprofits and charitable organizations in the greater Chattanooga area, from Cleveland to Dalton, from Jasper to Benton. Everybody in the whole Chattanooga region is important. This is Scott Howell. I'm with the Friends and Neighbors Group. Everyone go out and make this a remarkable day.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpcleveland.com. That's gnpcleveland.com or call 423-380-1984.